answers. Easter seals today.
Hi, I'm Carol Gault, and thank you for joining us today on Easter Seals Today. Today we have with us Marcy McClure and Amber Robertson, and I believe that Marcy is the manager of Medicaid services. Yes. Is that correct? And Amber is the manager of the Adult Day Training Program, and we're going to be talking about those things today. So let's just get started, and let's start with you, Amber. Sure. And before we get into the conversation and some questions, why don't you just tell us a little bit about who you are, what you do, what that title means, and what your job entails.
Sure. Well, I've currently been at Easter Seals for about 5 years now. I started out in the adult daycare program and started doing some work with the adult day training program and enjoyed it so much that I moved over into that department about 4 years ago.
Okay, great. All right. And what about you, Marcy?
I've been at Easter Seals 11 years. I started out with the adult day training program and did a vocational evaluations, and now I'm manager of Medicaid services, and I assist families with getting funding if they want to come to Easter Seals for a program. And then I also am the manager of community living supports, which we'll talk about at a later time.
Okay. All right. And so you're both located at the center on Mildred Street.
Yes.
Correct?
2229 Mildred Street.
Okay. All right. And so let's go ahead and get into the meat of the program with the Adult Day Training Program. Tell me just a little bit, and the audience just a little bit, about exactly what that is.
Okay. Well, the Adult Day Training Program is a day program that promotes independent living skills. And we strive to meet our mission by providing training and support in the areas of self-care and daily living skills. We also offer recreational and leisure activities as well.
And how many people do you think that you probably serve?
Right now we currently have around 40 individuals in the Adult Day Training Program and probably, 7 ADT staff working with individuals.
And so every day there are probably 40 individuals that come into the center?
Well, now several of our individuals are employed out in the community, so they will come into the program on the days that they're off, or they will come into the program and utilize some of the classes and then take public transportation to work and then come back to the center when they're done.
We do teach vocational skills, either through some work at the center, or we have community employment programs, and then also with ADT they will go out in the community to volunteer at different agencies such as Family Service Society, Paducah Cooperative Ministries. Wherever the individual's interested in, we will find a volunteer position out there for them and assist them with that.
And when you refer to ADT, it's taken me a little while to get used to the lingo. Sure. So you're referring to adult day training.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. All right. And it has kind of a twofold purpose. I know that you come in, and when you talked about the living skills, or life skills, living skills, they might do things like learn a cooking class or learn different skills in the facility, and then the vocational training, as you just mentioned. So let's talk just a little bit about what a day might look like inside the facility, and then let's go into the vocational training as well. So
sure.
let's get a good full picture for the viewing audience.
Sure. Most of our individuals come in through public transportation. They will come in and socialize with their peers, drink some coffee, eat a light breakfast before they start their morning.
And what time might that be?
Typically, they're all there by 8:30 in the morning. At 8:30, we go over and we start our day with a flag ceremony and prayer service. Then we have group exercise with light stretching and light aerobics. Throughout the day, we offer 1-hour classes, and some of those classes would include math, reading, money management, health education classes, life skills, cooking. We have a computer lab, community safety, and on and on. We have several classes we offer.
And we also have an art program, which is a wonderful program. We have a professional artist that she runs the program, and then she will invite other area artists in and do classes. So a lot of our individuals enjoy participating in that. And then through our hallways, you will see the artist work featured. She'll hang them up and rotate them out. And then like we have one individual that he's having a grand opening at the Yiser Art Center on December the 3rd.
Right, I think that's Diana Davenport that
Yes.
you're mentioning, and you do several community art events, I know, with the individuals that are working there. And then Tamil Lee has just
Right.
been recently featured at Yiser, I believe.
Yes.
So yes. Mhm.
Yes.
So that's another aspect.
Yes.
So tell me a little bit more.
We also send out a monthly calendar and newsletter with several scheduled outings out in the community each month. We get out and we go bowling and fishing, camping. We go to the library, several Carson Center events. We go swimming at Brooks Pool. We eat out quite a bit, and one of their favorite outings would probably be Guys' Day Out or Ladies' Day Out. And this gives the individuals the opportunity to vote with their peers, and they decide how they want to spend their day out in the community, whether it be eating or an activity they would like to attend, or just shopping for some things that they might need.
Great. Great.
And then one of the favorite activities that the individuals do is we do annual trips every year. So we started this about 2007. The staff felt like that vacations are so important for us and our families, and a lot of the individuals just do not get a chance to go. You know, they may not have families at the time, or they may be in a group home, whatever reason, or they may live by themselves. So we had them vote on the trips that they would like to go. You know, if we told them, hey, if you could go anywhere in the U.S., where would you go for vacation? And so the top 3 trips we decided to go to that year. And one, my favorite memory is when we went to Destin, Florida. We had 23 individuals.
Wow.
And we decided to take minivans versus a tour bus so that we could all go in different directions when we got there, depending on what the individuals wanted to do. So it took us a while to get down there, but we researched the best beach spot. We were blessed with a $2 million beachfront home for a fraction of the cost, and the beach was, you know, right there. When we got there, it was sunset, and so we helped the individual. Most of our individuals can walk, but one individual in particular uses a walker, and so the sand was pretty good distance to the water. So staff had to assist him on both sides, get him down there into the ocean, and there was a red flag where the waves were so strong, so staff had to assist him, you know, keeping him up. And it was so funny. He, you know, every time a wave would come, he would just the smile on his face made that trip so worth it for all of us.
How great, how great.
And that was just a wonderful, wonderful trip. And it was just, those are the types of trips we do. Last year, they wanted to go on a cruise. So we set that up, and they were able to go this year, earlier in the spring. And then those who didn't want to get on a boat, because there were some folks that were scared of the water and boat, they voted for Chattanooga. So half the group went to the cruise to the Bahamas on Carnival Cruise, and then half to Chattanooga. So every year is a little bit different. Sometimes we've been to Memphis, Washington, D.C., Orlando, but we fundraise for that trip all year long. We do activities. We will do luncheons, the fall festival that raises a little bit of money.
Yes.
So anything we can do, we'll sell Avon a couple of times a year. Anything that we can do to help fundraise for that so that they don't have the whole cost to pay for.
Well, those are really great experiences, and I'm sure they create a lot of good memories and a lot of good opportunities for learning those life skills that we talked about.
Sure.
Once they learn them in the classroom, each individual gets the opportunity to put those skills to use.
Yes.
So that's a great opportunity. Now let's talk a little bit about the vocational side of the adult day training program.
Right. Well, some of our individuals would like to get a job out in the community, or some of them, you know, just prefer to be at Easter Seals, or maybe they don't feel like they're ready for the community yet. So we will teach vocational skills. We have a recycling center that they can work in, and then sometimes we will build crates or pallets for area businesses. We just, you know, have less than 10 individuals that do that currently. But the remainder of the individuals, we try to get them out in the community if they choose for a job. And we have an Employment Connections program. And part of the ADT, how they can assist, or the adult day training, is teaching them the appropriate social skills. You know, if you go to a job, you know, what types of things your boss expects from you, you know, money management, if you get that paycheck, you know, how do you keep that safe, you know, what do you do with it? So there's different things you can teach them in the adult day training to get them ready for employment. And then employment services is, we could discuss that at a later program, but the job coaches will go in there and assist them and train them on the job for the employer and give them support. As they get more independent with their job, the job coach will back off and let them become more and more independent. Some of the waivers will pay for transportation to be picked up at the center at their home and taken to their job. So it's a really neat program. We have lots of individuals. People, I think, would be surprised at how many individuals work out in the community. It may be at Best Buy, or we match them according to their interest. If someone likes music, then they may go to a music store and develop a job for them there. They do some job carving, so just a great opportunity.
I know I was amazed at the number of individuals, retail establishments, and the variety of jobs that were matched. So that was exciting for me to see those numbers, and I really learned. So you're probably right. We may need to come back and do a show separate on that at some point. You're right. But I think we have some video of some of the classes. So now might be a good opportunity to take a look at that video, and maybe we can talk a little bit and describe about that, because I think it may be from a cooking class. So if we have that opportunity, I think it may be up now. And let's talk just a little bit about what we're seeing, because I think these are just actual life skills that would be good for every individual to learn about learning a recipe and exactly how to follow that recipe, and just good independent living life skills. Marcy, you want to talk just a little bit about that?
Sure. Every cooking class is different. We try to hold those 2 or 3 times a month. And a few times we'll have someone come in from the community, but usually it's our staff assisting the individuals. And right now, for most of our folks, it's just simple things that, probably we take for granted, or I do at my home, is, making sure you spray the pan so that it, doesn't burn the food. Or just learning about heat safety, making sure you've got your mitten on when you put your hand in the glove, just like the gentleman's doing now. So they really, really enjoy that. Simple things like making coffee and making sure, that doesn't burn you, or oatmeal. They've done a variety of cooking classes. It may be spaghetti, chicken, enchiladas, tacos. This year, I think that they might have been doing that for our bake sale coming up. But they really enjoy that. That makes them feel good that they can cook and they don't have to wait for someone to cook something for them. And our whole mission is to help them be more independent. If there wasn't a caregiver, if there wasn't paid staff, we want them to know and learn as much so that they can be as independent as possible.
Well, and we see there, measuring out oil and stirring it in, and it's just chemistry, applying those things, making sure that you're doing it right, thinking through, and those are simple mistakes that we all make. It's just making sure that we take the time to do it and go through the process and get it done, and that's exactly right.
And they all have a part in cooking class. We take the individuals to the grocery store and they help make out the grocery list. They help budget the money for cooking class. We have some larger cooking classes where we prepare lunch for everybody, and then some of the individuals serve the meal and they help clean up. And then we have the smaller cooking classes as well, where they can get more one-on-one.
It's really amazing to watch those videos and see all those things that take place. You all are so busy over there. I think oftentimes we don't all realize what goes on behind those walls.
Sure.
And, just like taking part in every piece of the field trip, every budgeting the money. So that's good to hear. It's good information to have.
Yeah.
Let's talk about how, I know that you have goals for a lot of individuals when they come in, and talk to us a little bit about how you set those goals, and if you have plans for each individual to achieve, and maybe how these services are paid for. I know we talked a little bit about fundraising, but I know that there are other ways. You mentioned a waiver.
Yes.
There are other different ways that some of the services are paid for. So let's talk about the goals, let's talk about payment, and let's talk about other aspects for the program as well.
Okay, sure. As far as the individual goals, when they first become in the program, we assign them a program manager in the adult day training program. And so the staff has no more than 6 individuals on their caseload. They will participate in a team meeting, and the team meeting will include the individual, caregivers, guardian, their case manager, and any other interested party. It could be a pastor, a friend, an aunt, uncle. It just really depends on who the individual wants to invite to their meeting. And then the individual, will tell us, hey, what are your desires? What are your goals? And then we develop a written plan which gives every team member a responsibility on how they're going to help that individual meet that goal. Some of the goals may be I want to get my driver's license or get my driver's permit. It could be I want to learn how to use the computer. I want to have my own bank account. We have some individuals that want to have their own apartment, so there's lots of goals that can be worked on through that. Maybe learning the laundry and how to organize or clean. If you had your own apartment, this is how you would have to do this, or home maintenance. So it just really depends. And then there's some individuals that say, I would love to go on a vacation, or I would like to work at, Best Buy or whatever. So it just depends on the individual. And those goals can change anytime, just like it would be for our lives. I may have a hobby and 3 months later, decide to do something else. So it's really a good program. And once you get that written plan, the ADT will be assigned certain goals, and then their staff will work with them, not only in the group, because most of the activities are group, but they will pull them out and do one-on-one goals with them as well.
Okay, all right. So if I have a loved one that I have at home or am associated with, and I know that they would like to reach some of those goals, and this might be a resource for me, I should just contact the center?
Yes, and ask for Marcy, McClure, or Amber Robertson if they're interested in the adult day training program.
Okay.
I help with all the services. If someone's interested, they need to come in and fill out an application for services. And then within 7 days, we have an admissions committee that will review the information and decide if we feel like we can meet the individual's needs. And then we will take them for a tour, make sure that they know of all of our services to see what they're interested in. And then, like if they are in the adult day training program, then they will start there. As far as funding, my job is to assist them to get funding. We don't want anyone to have to private pay for services, because most of our individuals, do not receive a lot of income. They may just only get Social Security benefits of, $679. And that's not a lot to live on every month. So what we will do, we do have a sliding scale for individuals that do not meet Medicaid eligibility, but most of our folks do. And if they do meet Medicaid eligibility, then they can get on 2 different waivers. One is called the Supports for Community Living waiver, and then the other one is called our Michelle P. waiver. Michelle P. was named after an individual who, the Supports for Community Living waiver, it was such a long waiting list to get on that the individuals and families of Kentucky got upset, and they sued the state, said, you're not giving us enough services to help our individuals stay out of an institution. So that's how the Michelle P. waiver got started in 2002, and most of our individuals will utilize that waiver. So if they get Medicaid, then they will be eligible for, sometimes they can be eligible for one of those waivers. And to be eligible for one of the waivers, not only for the Medicaid eligibility, but also you have to meet the needs or the criteria for an intermediate care facility for persons with mental retardation. So I will assist them, see if they are eligible, tell them how they need who they need to contact for an assessment. And then I'll work with the families. It may take a few months to get them on the waiver, or it could take a month. It just really depends on the individual and how they are getting their Medicaid set up.
Okay, all right. So that kind of breaks down how to pay for it and how to get started. But Amber, as the director of the ADT program, or the manager, excuse me there, kind of tell me, if my loved one has certain medical needs or certain nutritional needs, let's address those issues or opportunities, if you will. How would we handle that? If I came to you and we started down this path, address some of those questions for me.
Sure. I would have you come into the ADT program and take a tour and see that the program was appropriate for your individual. We do have 2 facilities at the Mildred Street address. We have the Adult Day Training Program and the Day Fair Program. So if you have an individual that has more medical needs, we do have the medical module. to come into our program, you must be 18 years of age or older, have an MRDD diagnosis, and must be able to eat independently and use the bathroom on your own, because like I said, we don't provide any personal care services on our side. So.
Okay.
The adult daycare facility, which is another day program. We have two daycare programs, adult day training, which is Amber's the manager of, and then the adult daycare. And they have nursing care available, and not all the individuals need that, but if they like have a trachea, or that they need some personal care or assistance with eating their meals, or maybe they are diabetic and they need some shots, insulin shots through the day or whatever, or just blood sugar checks,
Right.
then we will refer them to that program.
Right, and there are services for those individuals as well. I just wanted us to make sure that we made the distinction between the two,
Sure.
and that there were services available, but I think at another program we're going to get into that at some juncture and have that conversation. But all that information is available on the website. So I just wanted the audience to understand that there was a difference
Sure.
between the two programs, and I knew that Amber could shed some light on that as well as the two of you, because you two are the experts.
Yes.
That's why you're here today. So tell me some more. Give me some more information. Tell me what the highlights that have been for the program in the last year.
Well, over the last 3 years, we've had a very generous parent donor who has donated the money for our individuals to take a trip to Nashville as an early Christmas present. So this year, they made it possible for us to go down to the Gaylord Resort to see the Oak Ridge Boys at a Christmas concert and stay overnight. So we're really excited about that. The individuals are really looking forward to it. We take a tour bus down and watch Christmas movies, and we just have a really good time doing that. So we feel really blessed.
Wow. So that'll be upcoming
Yes.
in the next few weeks before the holiday, I
Yes,
guess.
we'll be going before Christmas.
So, well, that'll be great. That'll be great. And I know the talent show, you all have a talent show yearly, so I'm sure those individuals, you have some great singers there.
Yes, we do, and we practice
in the
for
program.
months. Yeah.
So it'll be a highlight, I'm sure, for them to have the opportunity to see the Oak Ridge Boys,
Yes.
given the talent that you have within the facility there. So that's exciting.
Right.
Tell me some more.
Well, in January, usually the end of January is when we have our basketball tournament. It's sponsored by the Knights of Columbus. And then we have cheerleading and dance competitions there. So they will start to practice for that now and participate in that. And then, of course, the basketball players will start to practice too. And in the Valentine's Day, or on Valentine's Day, we have a dance where we invite the families and people from the community there, and we have a DJ there, and that's just a great fun time.
So throughout the year, there are seasonal things.
Sure.
And are those things posted on the internet?
Yes, they are. Yes, they are.
Okay, all right. And so I'm sure that we'll have that website up here so that people can see. And again, if people would like to contact you, what would be that best phone number?
270-443-1200.
Okay, all right, 443-1200.
Yes.
All right, and I was trying to think here in my head. We've covered the waivers, we've talked about admission, and we've talked about things that you do in the facilities, the life skills that you learn, that an individual would learn, and we've talked about money management, and then we've talked about working outside the facility, and we've talked about the goals, we've talked about the special field trips that everyone gets to take, and the new highlights like during the holiday season. That is an exciting time for everyone. What about shopping? That brought to mind like Christmas shopping for their own family members.
Sure.
Do you take each individual separately Christmas shopping?
Usually what we do, like I said, the last 3 years, we've gone down to Nashville. So we break up into small groups, and this gives the individuals the opportunity to shop for their caregivers and family members and their peers at the center.
And then do you bring them back and wrap the gifts? I mean, would that be another life
Sometimes.
skill? I mean, that's
Sometimes.
I'm trying to get a good picture here of
Right.
what we might do.
Right. We want them to be as independent as possible. But
Right.
for some folks that, maybe they need assistance with that, then absolutely we'll help them with that. Another program that we have is called the Community Living Supports, and it's similar to the ADT program, but it's one-on-one. So a lot of folks will go Christmas shopping during that time of service, and then they'll take them back to their home and wrap them and that kind of thing.
And that's a program where I might call in and become a member or a person that could work within that program, and
Yes.
and an individual might go with me bowling or might go with me Christmas shopping, and we just work within the community to find people to do that, and they kind of pair up and go one-on-one, and it's not
Yes.
always staff members that do that. Is that correct?
Right. Well, we do hire them out, but the difference is that it cannot be done at the center of that service. So they may pick them up at the center and then take them out in the community, and they can work with them in their home. So where on the video it showed them doing cooking class as a group, the community living support service will be like in their home. So, which is, we've got an individual that on Thursday, she's been making meals for her family every Thursday. And so she's very proud of herself, and we'll go in there on a Thursday and spend a couple of hours so helping her prepare that meal. You know, first we'll go out and do grocery shopping and help her budget and, you know, make sure she stays within her limits of however much money she's planning to use for that. And then, yes, like she would go Christmas shopping, you know, maybe the next week. And so there's all kinds of activities. Horseback riding. It could be getting their driver's license and actually maybe going through the community and looking at road signs. So that's both programs that people can utilize.
All right. Okay. Well, great. Well, I think that we've learned a lot today. I know that I certainly have, and I hope the audience has. Every time I sit down with guests here on Easter Seals Today, I learn so much, and I thank you all for all the opportunities and things that you provide within the community and the information that you brought to us today. I appreciate it so much, and I know the audience does as well. Is there anything else that you would like to share with us before we go here in the next few minutes?
Well, I think we've had a good time. I appreciate you having us.
I appreciate you having us.
Well, I appreciate you all coming and sharing with us today. And again, we've had Marcy McClure and Amber Robertson with us today. And I'm Carol Gault, and we hope to see you next time again here on Easter Seals Today.